DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Game 2, NBA Finals tonight. We got a question up on our Facebook page. Jalen Brunson. How did he last until the second round? What happened? Who goofed? How did they goof? Why didn't people see this coming? PK, do you think to a certain degree a lot of the rules that we have known, if not rules, but at least the guidelines to what works in the NBA, changing dramatically, the history and the tradition and the patterns that told us what happened for a long time are going to tell us as much going forward with the three-point shot? Is there going to be room for more variation from the norm here? Because if you can hit the three, you can swing a game or a series.
Well, I think that might have been the case now for a number of years. I don't know that it's something totally brand new.
5 or 10, you think?
I mean, Kyle Korver was in the league for that very reason. That, and he was extremely good looking.
Thank you, Ashton Kutcher.
So I think it was a discrimination with Jalen Brunson. They just looked at him and he was too short. He didn't look the size. So they had in their mind of what it's supposed to be, and he didn't fit that prototype. But he still was drafted. I mean, I think he was drafted like third in the second round or something like that, which his level of talent, obviously, and his level of impact and success far supersedes where he was drafted. It's not the first time, and it probably won't be the last time. And for whatever reason, there's other guys that fell. Jeff Hornacek, what position was he? What was he, a point? Not really. Was he a two? Oh my man, look at him. He looks like a weakling. Like he can barely lift, do a bench press of 100 pounds, let alone 200 pounds. Well, he found his way in the league and was extremely successful for a second round pick, right? It does happen. It's just that they don't fit, and the draft is, what is the surest thing? What are you looking for? What can you count on? Kevin O'Connor talking about Paul Millsap. If you have a skill like rebounding, that can translate. Well, why did Millsap last so stinking long? Because he was shorter for the position. The measurables didn't equate to what you're looking at. But sure enough, Paul Millsap had one of the, obviously for the Jazz in terms of a draft pick, most likely the best second round pick. Hornacek, they didn't draft him, but he flourished here to the point his jersey's retired, and I think Russell was a second round pick too, wasn't he? And he had a phenomenal career for a second round pick. So you get to that situation from Jalen Brunson, and he was underestimated. What I'm hoping can happen is maybe you can look beyond the negatives, and that's what Locke seems to. When he talks about DeBonsa, the first 5 things are what he can't do. Right? I mean, you can't argue that. I mean, he'll tell you all that, and all those things are legitimate. And yeah, and I agree with him 100% that if you're looking for the most skilled player in a draft, it is Darren Peterson. Absolutely, I agree. I think it's obvious, and I'm a DeBonsa guy. I feel like I'm a homer for DeBonsa in a sense because I'm hearing a lot of what he can't do, and let's face it, when the general consensus of opinion is to go A, I'm going to find a way to go B. We all know that.
But this is a good time. But this is a good time for you to do it because every year we get, here's the top 2, 3, 4, 5 players, whatever is in the draft. And every year those players go, the consensus isn't that far off, and then someone's a spectacular bust or someone underachieves, or usually both. And you go back, there are very few drafts where it's like great player, very good player, good player, good player. Like, okay, nobody whiffed. They got the top 4 and they got them in order. It doesn't happen that way. So this whole consensus of opinion is out there. I got 25 years of history that says it's jacked up. Why is this suddenly going to be right this year? Is this year so deep that you can't miss? I mean, they are talking about this is one of the best drafts, and we're talking about the top 4 because the Jazz are drafting 2. But if you read about the teams drafting 6, 7, 8, they all think there's going to be a really good player there. And that's why we had 10 teams tanking, because they all thought they could get a good player at 6, 7, 8. So maybe this is this draft, I don't know, foolproof, idiot-proof, bust-proof. I don't know what the phrase is, but it's like Maybe it's just that good. But that's not what drafts usually are. There's someone in there like what's the old Sesame Street thing? Which of these players just doesn't belong, right? And they have 4 choices on the screen. You watch that with your kids recently?
Oh, I watched it all growing up.
Oh, you saw it growing up, yeah.
One of these things not like the other.
Right, yeah.
Okay, guys, don't. I am really put off if somebody sings on the air. I mean,
You are.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
let's just stop
Come on,
that
let's
right
sing
now.
Maggie May. We got
to a
Rod
vote?
Stewart tickets.
Can we
He's
go
a
to a
legend.
vote? Let's go
Let's
to a
go.
vote.
I mean, that's why I don't do it. The people, and you two are
Why you
over there
don't do
singing
it. Got
nursery
it.
rhymes. I mean, it's unbecoming. I don't know how else to say it.
Becoming. Words I didn't expect to hear this morning. Unbecoming.
Ain't
I
no
can't say
better
that-
time than now for Mexico.
Oh, that's true.
All right, let's have a game
no
right now.
shoes, no shirt, no problem.
Well, I mean, if you're an accomplished singer, if we have Pavarotti on the show, we're not going to say "Don't sing, big guy."
I'm
You
on
know what I mean?
highway to hell. Don't
doesn't
stop me.
You went to college to do this.
Not true. I went to ASU.
Hey-oh.
There's going to be levels of disappointment. Maybe not bust. Bust is a strong word. It's inarguable if you're a bust, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can have levels of success if you want to go to the positive. If you want to go like me to the negative, levels of disappointment. I don't think the Jazz are going to get a bust. I would be shocked if they got, unless there was some injury issues, something that you cannot control. But all things being equal right now, I don't see them getting a bust. Levels of success, well, that's an empty sheet of paper. That's a blank canvas because none of these guys have done it at the pro level. And it's going to take some time, right? We'll see. But I don't think they're going to get a Cantor or an Exum. Now, I think those guys were busts for different reasons. With Exum, we never really got to know because the kid couldn't catch a break.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he would have been something special. Maybe he wouldn't be. I don't know. We'll never know. Cantor, he's into all this other stuff. Somebody had told me high up in the Jazz organization that they had to get Okur to try to talk to the kid to grow up. Because he wanted to be too goofy.
And he could score and rebound. He had no interest in defending.
Yeah.
He was a wooden gate on hinges. Blow right through.
Yeah, and other things sidetracked him. It's interesting to see where his life has gone now with this the way he's been an activist in a sense. That I didn't expect that, but so be it. Whatever. That's certainly his right to do that. The player for the Jazz, they're going to get a productive player. Will they get the most productive player when we get to 2032? Who knows? Right now, it looks like Peterson is the surest bet, and Locke is going strong with Washington. If I'm Washington, yeah, I strongly consider it. To me, when we had Getzeiler on last week, and he's talking about Sam Mitchell signing off on the kid, that was a powerful endorsement because Mitchell doesn't really gain anything by it. And I don't think Mitchell, an NBA player, NBA coach, is going to finagle and have an agenda to tell people different things. I think he's going to speak honestly for what he's been able to see and observe. And that's a powerful recommendation because you're getting one of your own vouching for the kid. We can all see his talent. I mean, you don't need to be a basketball expert to see his talent. You just have to have a working knowledge of the sport. And it's, wow, okay, this kid's got an enormous talent. And Mitchell signs off on it, and maybe that's good enough for Washington. Fine. So be it. How about this? The Jazz, they trade up, but they trade up to get Peterson. That would be a shocker.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Just top.
It would be. I think if they trade up, it seems like a lot of that talk is cool. There's just general acknowledgement that the Wizards have the number one pick, and they've struggled for so long. They need the credibility of the market of bringing in the number one pick. They're going to overcharge anyone to move up there. And these other players are so well thought of. Why would another team do that? Why would they overpay to move up when they can get a pretty good player, drafting 2, drafting 3, whatever?
They don't want a pretty good player. Maybe they want the best player.
And that's why it could still happen, because someone is so committed to one guy. So it could still happen, and these things don't usually happen, what are we, like 3 weeks out from the draft now? They don't usually happen this far out. It's usually something that the talk will start a couple days before the draft. Something will leak, and there'll be speculation, and then it'll happen draft night if it happens. It's not going to happen now.
No, it's not. It's too early. It'll be within probably a 72-hour range when we'll start to get the momentum on that thing, and we'll see. But if the Jazz, this even bothers me to say it, if they have to take DeBonsa, I don't understand how we're evaluating him as a finished product.
Okay, number one, they don't have to take DeBonsa. They get to.
But you get my point.
I do get your point. But when you're drafting number 2, especially with this much talent, you get to draft whoever. If they have the same thoughts that David Locke has, you don't have to take him. Don't take him. Have the courage of your conviction and take whoever you believe in. Boozer would probably be the next name up. But hey, if you want to do something unorthodox and drop deeper, everything, we'll judge it by whether the guy plays or not and whether he helps them win. And if you lose the press conference, so what? Go win games. And then the story writes itself. Pick the guy you believe in. Don't go in thinking I have to draft player X. You don't.
Yeah.
You get to. Whoever you pick, whoever it turns out to be, whether you move up or move down, you get to.
And, we've been hearing that Will Hardy is this really, really good coach, and they can develop guys. All right. I'm giving you a product. Go develop him then. Go put him in the situations where he succeeds. We know that a couple of predecessors before him, there's a guy named Jerry Sloan who was a master at that.
Yeah.
As far as putting guys in, what can you do? Not what you can't do, but what can you do and how can I maximize that? And go do that. And if DeBonsa can't do this or this right now, well, then let's see what he can do and put him in that situation where he is. I'm a little hesitant with DeBonsa because he's our guy, our local guy, of just making these judgments based on what I saw this season, because I don't know that he'll ever be in the situation that he was last year again at the NBA level, because he's going to play with far better players. Even if guys are injured, they're not going to be decimated. BYU's roster in retrospect was so friggin' flawed, even without the injuries. Then the injuries made it beyond flawed. And that's why they had a disappointing season. They got bounced in the first round because it was DeBonsa and Rob and then nothing, literally nothing else. And it was all a bunch of new guys, basically, and they didn't know what they were doing. And then sure enough, they basically, all of them took off and
look where they landed
to succeed.
And look where they landed.
Yeah.
They didn't go to marquee programs. There weren't powerhouses beating down the door to get these guys.
Right. And I'm not going to crack on Kevin Young because I think he has to learn too. I don't care how great he was. Kevin Young in year 2 was not a finished product as a college basketball coach. And we'll see his level of improvement based on his experience and understanding of what works and how the college game, which are all new rules now anyway, or all no rules, as Todd Phillips basically told us, away you go. So that's the stuff that these experts, Ainges and Jay-Z and all these other folks there that are working, and when they put the product on across the street, they'll be able to see this is what we did, why we did it. So I don't think they can really go wrong, but there is a possibility that they don't go as right as they could. And they know that too. And that's what they got to figure out. And the fact that I said earlier with the payroll, they're going to have a payroll next year that's expected to win. So that adds a little more intrigue into it.
It does. But I think with these draft picks, I can only speak for myself, but I think what most people expect, and certainly what I expect, is that these guys are paid big time for 3 years. And they're going to have turnover and have to break up the roster. At Ace Bailey, as a 5 pick, and whoever they use this 2 pick on, they should be, as these other guys get older and get too expensive or get too old or have injuries, whatever, these 2 become the foundation you want to build around. So as much as you want them to be good and contribute in the next year or two, and certainly I do, the bigger test is, are you the foundation to build around in 4 or 5 years? Are you a role player and they're looking for other foundational players? Are you just struggling to stay on the team in the league and you've been a big disappointment? Tell me where you're going to be, because the guys are getting paid $50 million. They're going to be expected to carry the freight as long as they're on the team, right? They got 3 years left on their deal.
You're only going to lose one of those guys. You're not going to necessarily lose both of them.
There's a very good case to be made for that. But nonetheless, you're going to need pillars.
Oh, I agree. So
and that's what I expect these guys to be.
Marketing as an example. I'm not saying I want him gone and all that stuff. No, I'm not saying that at all. But he's the one, because he's the oldest of the group. Mm-hmm. So you get rid of him. Well, then you have, whether it's DeBonsa, Boozer, Bailey, George, whoever it might be, you have those guys, one of those guys or multiple guys, replace what marketing gave you. Right? Mm-hmm. And then you continue to go.
Yeah. And maybe
to me, the future looks extremely bright, even when they're up against the payroll issues.
There's multiple paths forward here. When I can say these 2 should be the pillars, but there's a chance they're not. Maybe one of these guys is the 3rd or 4th best. They still did a good job picking them and develop them, but they're not.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, right. But maybe when it's time and one of the $50 million guys has to be flipped, you get somebody who is the pillar. I mean, who's to say, right? There've been. Yeah. How did Brunson get to New York? How did Doncic get to L.A.? I mean, stuff happens that you would never predict 5 years ago looking at the Mavericks, and yet here we are. So who's to say? I mean, the SGA trade, nobody knew he was going to blow up, but he did. I mean, who's to say? 3-5 years down the road, stuff can change. But
yes, it can.
You get to pick 2, so get a really good piece of the puzzle. And I care about the short term, but I care more about the long term.
Yeah, but
I think the short term takes care of itself.
You're paying money. You got to get results relative to the level of money that you've got. I don't think you can blow it off that way. I go 50-50.
Okay, well, I mean, I can't really argue with you want it all. Of course you do. Why wouldn't you? Why back away from really high expectations right now?
Yeah, I'm going to give Kessler big money. He has to produce big time.
Totally agree.
And Jackson, Triple J, and Lowry are already making big money.
Yep.
These guys got to produce immediately. Immediately.
That's the expectation. That's why we're talking about 45, 50 wins. Some people are talking about more than that. That's why we're talking about not just getting to the playoffs, but can you win a series when you get there? Now, winning 2 means beating the Thunder or Spurs or taking advantage of them getting upset in the first round. So good luck with that. That's a high bar. But first things first, can you get to 45? Can you get to 50? Can you get to more than that? And can you win a playoff series? Get to the top 6. Don't see the Thunder and Spurs in the first round. Beat somebody else.
All of a sudden, to me, and maybe I'm not looking at it clearly because the Thunder had injuries that I'm not accounting for, but it doesn't seem like beating the Thunder is that outrageous.
It'd be a great accomplishment. They will be a very good team next year. They will be a very good team. And the Spurs got him, and they got him in 7, and they had the injuries. But, man, the Thunder went through the Suns and Lakers and nothing flat. Bang, bang, sweep, sweep. I mean, they're very good, and they're not going to be bad next year. Doesn't mean they'll be the champs. Doesn't mean they can't be beaten. But if the Jazz somehow do that Delta Center ought to be rocking because that's an accomplishment.
Just to play with them.
Yeah.
To be on the floor with them in the playoffs.
And if that happens, then Danny Ainge and Austin Ainge and Will Hardy and Jay-Z and Ryan and everybody, there ought to be a massive sense of accomplishment if that gets pulled off. That'll be cool. And then we'll immediately turn around and expect more. Okay, that was cool. Well, now you ought to win the next series if you can do that, whoever the next series is.
Sure.
But nonetheless, they had to walk off the court freaking beaming if they pull that off. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. When we come back, everything you missed in this show and one new thing. Something just happened. They just announced it during the show. We'll get to that next. Stay with us.
Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.